Hi, welcome back to Lakeside Quilt Making Arts. We are working on our Comfort in the Waiting quilt, which you'll see is on the design board that is behind the medallion that we're working on for the Quilt Show's Block of the Month, Pick a Petal. So let's get started on this. I have something interesting for us to, different direction for us to go. And it was inspired by the fact that there's a secondary design going on, which is not necessarily a look that we're looking for. I'll explain. But first, you know what we're going to do? I'm tired of my shirts that I'm going to cut into fabric, into scraps, hanging around looking like laundry. So we're going to get that cut up real quick. And I think if you watch the catbird quilts, Kathy, I think her name is. If you watch her, she's really strategic about how she does this. I'm not going to be that strategic. Oh, do you hear that beeping? That means my bacon is ready. I got to get that out of the oven first. I'll be right back. Now I may watch the catbird seat again and watch where she has deconstructed one of her thrift store shirts. And I may decide I'm going to approach this differently than I am at the moment. But what we're going to do is we're just going to whack at this and get it all laying flat. Lying flat, laying flat. That's a word that always messes me up, the usage of it. Anyway, oh, by the way, it may crinkle a bit, but I got more cutting board that I can use to cut into templates. I believe this is thicker than what I had before. I haven't compared it, but it feels pretty thick. So I wonder if it's going to cut as well with my kitchen shears. We'll find out, but it's a fairly affordable, getting just a generic kitchen cutting. You consider this vinyl. What is this? What do they say it's made out of? They don't say, at least plastic right there. So we'll see. Sorry about all the crinkling. Anyway, let's whack at this and get it cut into something that stores. I feel like I'll be committed once I do this, right? These are shirts that my mother had bought for my son. She bought them at a thrift store. He's been on a weight loss journey for almost a year now. And so she wanted to get him some shirts. And so she picked him up some shirts. Well, he loved them, but they did not account for the fact that he's 6'4". They were just too short. He couldn't raise his arms without them rising up. And he still needed to lose a little bit of weight before they fit real comfortably. They fit him okay, but anyway, it was just not the perfect thing. So he and she discussed it, and I got to take the shirts, and use them as quilting fabric because I think they're beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And it's a shame that they didn't work out for him. See, I know there's enough in this that if I want to take the time to pull that apart, that there's fabric in there. But right now, I'm going to think about this as something that's going to just go in my scraps that I keep for making a dog bed. That way they're not completely just destroyed. The next question is, do I want to keep the pocket on? I don't know. And again, I could do this with a ruler and make it super, super neat. Right now, we're just deconstructing it, getting it to lie flat so I can fold it up and consider it fabric, quilting fabric. It's got a great feel to it, and I'm sure once it's washed again, it will feel even more amazing. I'm one of those that likes the crinkle of a quilt. I like to wash things and dry them, not things, quilts. I like to wash and dry my quilts. So let's get you a little closer so you can see. Well, I don't know what happened, but I thought I was recording while I was deconstructing this shirt and was not actually recording. I don't know at what point if I just hit the button after I got you over here, or didn't hit it, did hit it, or I don't know. But I was talking to you and telling you all kinds of things while I was deconstructing this. But it's okay. I am sure you didn't even miss it because you have no idea what all I was talking about. And it was good stuff. I was talking about bacon. Bacon and cheese and pumpkin seeds. But I'm getting close to having this all cut up. I think the last thing you heard me talk about was about I'm one of those that likes a crinkly quilt, one that's been put in the washer and dryer. So when I'm thinking about preparing my fabrics for quilting, I like it starched only so much. I just don't want to deal with the a deep starching process, and I don't like the aerosol period, and I just don't want all that. But I do like the fibers to be stiff while I'm working on them, so it's a little bit of a mixture there. But what I'm thinking about the whole time is is the fact that I'm gonna wash this as soon as I get the binding on. So I'm gonna be washing that sizing, starching right out. And of course, it's already washed out on these thrift store shirts, but there's something about taking a shirt home, and I know they've washed them, but you just want to get them washed as soon as you get home. But these have been washed. I washed them already. It feels really good. It's 100% cotton. And I think I was telling you, while the camera was not rolling, I was telling you about what I plan to use this fabric for. There's a quilt that's in my head, a canoe quilt, that you might as well start paying attention to, because one day we will do this whole thing on the YouTube channel about the canoe one. I'm so excited about it. I've got to work on, look at what we've got already. Look at this. We got this. We got this. I should measure and tell you how much yardage we got out of this. And then we got this. Isn't that great? We're not done yet. This part at the back, underneath the collar at the back, is double layered. So I need to make another pass at this and separate the two layers. I'll just take off the seam there and the seam there. I'll do that in just a second. I want to get this all done. I tell you what, why don't we just zip through the rest of this and get back to the reason we are all here. The hashtag every quilt's comfort in the waiting quilts. All right, here we go. Okay, let's talk about what we're here to talk about today. And that is our comfort in the waiting, which is covered up by the medallion for our quilt shows pick a petal, which looks so good there. Today, I hope to get to the point where I can stitch on this some. I was going to do that yesterday, but over this weekend, but then I had to pick more fabric. You'll see if you watch that show, I discuss the whole thing. And Sunday show, yeah. I can't wait to get to this. Cannot wait to get to it. Let's pull it off though, get it out of the way, nice and safe, so we don't put anything on top of it and lose it. I've got clear boxes over there that's stacked up over there that I love keeping my fabric in. And I see so many people having project boxes. And I looked at getting some, but I didn't want to spend the money on that. So what I've done is I've just pulled, I had several of these, 4 or 5 of these, and I forget what they're called, but they're for scrapbooking or for keeping photos in, that kind of thing. You want to have something large enough that your bigger 12 or 15-inch blocks don't get all wrinkled up. And this is fitting well enough. It does, turn the corner a little bit, but it's going to be fine because I'm not going to have a lot layered in there on top of it. It's a pretty good size box. Just kind of proud of myself that I repurposed something I already had, and I've got 2 or 3 of these, so that's one less purchase I have to make that is not fabric oriented. I want to talk to you about our quilt, our comfort in the waiting hashtag. Or how would you do that? Is that hashtag? Is there sign language for hashtag? That might be it. Anyway, I want to talk to you about our hashtag Avery Quilts, comfort in the waiting quilt. I cannot unsee this secondary pattern that's going on that's profound in this one. You see that? See what that looks like? It looks like something that we really don't want anyone else to see and then have a negative perspective on the entirety of the quilt. So what I'm thinking, number one, I'm going to get a close-up for you of this. I think I did that in another video already, but let me do that. You see this stashing that I put in here? I kind of like it. I've been studying it for a few days now. We had talked about just putting a thin strip of white, pure white sashing in here. But before I did that, and I had it on the board, I wanted to play with this because it looks like it belongs with this kit. And that looks good, good enough. But then that brings up another question. For this to be a donation quilt where I want to churn them out, I'm putting way too much time and effort into this and overthinking everything. But part of my journey is not just to churn stuff out, it's to learn the creative process where it applies to quilt making, which is why I named this channel Lakeside Quilt Making Arts, because there's a spectrum of art involved in quilt making. If you just say quilting, no, people just don't get it. They just think a quilt. They either think you're sitting there, just doing some hand quilting, but there's so much that goes into it, and that's kind of what I'm wanting to highlight with this channel. So that's why it doesn't bother me too badly that I'm overthinking all the nuances for a donation quilt. For an organization where the need is great, the need is, in a massive amount that I would never be able to, if all I did every minute of my life, I would never be able to meet it. So on one hand, if you can't meet it, then don't beat yourself up. Just do what you can. On the other hand, no, just drink all the coffee you can and just do it nonstop. But anyway, with all that said, I'm just rolling with it. When I can do a quicker one and my mindset is for that, we'll do that. But right now, I'm enjoying this process of overthinking everything. So we overthought to this point. Now, what we're left with, though, is this little symbol down here that is just not super desirable, right? We don't really see it elsewhere. If you look hard enough, you can see it. I saw it at one point in the evolution of things that we tried. I had one of these. I think it was this one was in a different location, and I had one of the units of the block upside down, and it looked like a swastika then. But so I changed it, and it looked fine. And I thought once I separated them all, they didn't look that way. But this one still does. So I either take this out and make another one, or I deconstruct this and put something else here and here and here that's not of the same colorway. So just this, this crossroads, this plus symbol is what catches your eye. I really would prefer to maintain the integrity of something and add to it versus take away from it. Just, it's just my bulldoze through things kind of mentality instead of take steps back to deconstruct something. So my first thoughts are, what if, well, let's look at why it looks like a swastika instead of a plus sign or crossroads. It looks like that because this fabric is in a similar value as this. They read so similarly. And because there's some light fabrics in this, there's some light colors in this fabric, it almost looks like you've got this dark value and it's kind of fading out here. Well, regardless, it doesn't need to stay that way. So I either take that out, that out, that out, that out, which means deconstructing it here, here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here. No, thank you. If I were to do that, what I would do is there's a trick of cutting. Like I would just turn this into a different kind of block. I would just cut here, and cut here, and cut there, and rebuild a different kind of block. But before I do anything like that and replace this whole block, let's see what we can add to it. Instead of taking away, can we add something to it to make it not look like that? And if we do this, we will have to, let me find that same fabric. If we do what I'm proposing to this one block, of course, we'd have to do it to all of the blocks. Yeah, here we go. If we put this, voila, like that. Let me pin that. I need more of my pins down here. Where are my pins? I need to get a separate batch of these. They're basically nails, but they are pins. I don't know if you have any of these. They have different color heads. This is just a white head, but they're big, so they've got a good handle and they're good for sticking in your design board. The design board, as you can see, all these are just stuck by just contact. There's just the friction of the felt with the fibers of the cotton. They just stick. Okay, so if we do something like this, do that. We widen this and it will create a different design altogether, hopefully. Let's see what that looks like. I think I like that enough right now to keep on playing with it. So I have a lot of these nail pins, but I have them upstairs on the giant design board. So I can, well, I needed them up there, right? Because I have the Mars quilt is up there. Gosh, that's thick. And then I need some down here, so I need to get more, I guess. All right, are we liking that? Yeah. If we do that, then I gotta take this fabric all the way around it, take this fabric all the way around it. This kitty cat goes all the way around, the green goes all the way around, and this paisley goes all the way around. I think that's what we do. That looks interesting. It's gonna make bigger blocks, gonna make your quilt bigger. We're gonna have to do less of the inner border that I was planning on doing, which is fine. Could be helpful, actually. This is slower because it's, what do I have? I have 2, 4, 6 blocks. So you have 4 sides to each block. So that's 24 lines of stitching, but hey, it's 24 lines. It's not 240. Let's just move on. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. I've got to make sure I have enough first, though, right? Ooh, now I'm having another thought. Maybe just 3 sides are done that way. Like everything on the outside edges is done that way. And then you leave the inside. I mean, gosh, like we said before, you can do anything and everything. Let's play with that. Let's take some of this and put it around here and see what we like about that. Do we have that? Yes. I have enough of everything, I'm pretty certain. So before I start cutting and sewing, I will check that out. So I don't know if you've watched all the videos that have been put up, but our Mondays, well, that looks good. Our Mondays have been turned into Motivation Monday. I'm going to have those to be a little quicker and easier because people are getting back to their work week. They want something easy consumption and nothing that takes too long. But 2 of the video types will take longer, and that's this one, where we're going to just be kind of figuring it out together. Oh, that looks good. Look at how that looks. I don't know if I can recreate that or not. I like it though. This one and the pick a petal will just be a little bit longer videos. And then we're going to keep the Monday one quicker and the Tuesday one a little bit quicker, the Thursday one a little bit quicker and easier for you guys to consume. So if you like the quilting process and the creative process, got you covered. If you don't, you just want to spy on what's going on, you can watch the others. But we're going to be working on Mondays, and that's the Moda blockheads. So I got my first 3 weeks here, and I got to get the fabrics hopefully this week. I wasn't planning on going into town, but I might have to, so I can work on it over the weekend. I think I like that well. I like that a lot. I think we need to go ahead and do it all the way around though, but I do like surrounding them. Okay, I'm going to need a green. You got to have one green, one full and a half. Do we have that? Yes, we have. Another one of this one, and yes, and another one of that one. Oh, okay, look, the same thing as up here, so I'm going to need 2 more of those. I had 1, so I need 2 more. Oh, got 1. Please have another. I think I do. Yes. Okay. Now let's look at our meow one. I see 2 right there in front of me. Our kitty cat one. Come here, kitty kitty. Where are you? Definitely have the meow purr. We got the white kitty cats. We got 1 blue kitty cat. Can't tell you for sure how many blue kitty cats we've got here. I think that's 2. Yes, that's 2 right there. 1, 2. I needed 2 of these, 2 of those. Tell me, we have plenty of green. Surely we do. This plan's coming together. We can't be losing it because of 2 green strips of fabric. All right, hold one memento. Let me go and look in my piles and see if I've got that green anywhere else. Eureka, I found it. I was beginning to sweat. So we have plenty of the green too. That'll look good. All right, so once we get those completely framed up, then I'll lay it out with this as our sashing again, and then without it, and we'll see what we like. One step at a time, we'll figure this out. Just much happier with how that looks all the way around, how it doesn't look like a swastika. Yes. I saw it, and I took that out of the video that when I first revealed the comfort and the waiting video, because I thought, well, I fixed it. Just don't draw attention to it. But I could not get that. The one I saw visually, I did fix, and I didn't really see it here. But then once I saw it in this one, I couldn't unsee it, and it's been bugging me. We're fixing it. We're not going to have any of that negativity in our quilts. And I will say, though, that for some reason, this concept of swastikas came up in conversation with my son while he was here visiting, and he pointed out to me that they aren't always they aren't always only affiliated, I don't know how to put that. They're not only affiliated with the thing that we most commonly affiliate them with, that they had a much more benign meaning or purpose. And I looked it up actually last week, and I don't remember what it said, but it isn't enough to make me comfortable. We're taking away that symbol. We are going to fix it up one step at a time. Hey there, I promise I'm here. I'm just going to be off camera a little bit, because really what you want to see is the sewing and not me. Like I said at the very beginning when I did my introductory video, this is not a tutorial type of channel. I'm here just trying to celebrate the quilt making arts, help to make someone else feel comfortable with it, and share my journey. And that's what we're doing. All right, here we go. First things first, we are using every start and stop as an opportunity to work on our leader ender quilt. I didn't know anything about leader enders until I started looking into quilting again in like November of 22, I believe it was. And when I learned about them, it was so satisfying because it brought the world of machine sewing into a comfort zone for me, because the rat's nest that can get created really easily when you're starting and stopping on a lot of small stitches, small stitch seams, lines of stitching, it's very frustrating. But the leader enders takes away that headache. Okay, we got one side on. I'm going to take it over, cut that off. Took the time to cut up more of these 1.5-inch white strips for my starters and enders. It is an exercise in patience, knowing that I am delaying the productivity of the project at hand. Because like I have said before, in the past, what I've done is just taken some scrap pieces to run underneath there. That's super quick and easy. But I have all these cutoffs from other projects, half square triangles and just random shapes that I think can be made into an interesting quilt. So that's what we're going to attempt to do. And I think it's going to be cool one day. Just hang in there with me. Have patience with me. All right. Don't worry. I'm not going to ask you to watch me either fast stitch or slow stitch on the machine. All of these squares. I thought we would just walk through the first one together. Almost there. This is the last one. And we'll pop it up on the design board. I don't think this has a selvage edge. It does not. That doesn't matter which way we put it. But we want to see our seams as we sew. Make sure we don't get those twisted. All right, almost done. I love these little scissors. Can't do it that direction, evidently. I'm sure you've heard every other quilter talk about them, but they are serrated, tiny, tiny, tiny serrated scissors, so they grab the fabric really well and cut really well. And they're lightweight, and your fingers fit in them pretty easily, and they could open more easily. So I probably need to make sure they're good and clean, and see about greasing them. I may research that before I mess with them. Karen K. Buckley or something like that is the name of them. They're fantastic. Anyway, this is the last strip. Let's go press this baby and get it trimmed up and on the board. Alrighty, let's clip off my leader enders. Got 2 more to add to the pile. These are the scissors that I used to rave about and love, and I still do love them. They open really well. When I refound these in my pile of things I had saved from the 90s, I realized that the Karen K. Buckleys need to probably be greased. These could have a bigger opening. I love that there's a sharp point to them and they work really well. If they were also highly serrated, they would really be the bomb. All right. There we go. Going to get trimmed and on the board, and we're going to take a look at it, and then just like magic, we'll have all 6 of them done. All right, here we go. We got it done. It no longer looks like a swastika, which is a good thing. It is now much bigger. How big is this thing? Let me measure it really quickly. Should be, yeah, it's 16.5 inches, so it will finish out at 16 inches. All right, I like it. It no longer looks like a swastika. Nobody needs to remember all of that horror when they're looking at a quilt, right? So we're going to get the others done. And just like that, we'll have the rest of the pieces done, the rest of the blocks done, and I'll show them to you. Hang on. It'll be a split second for you. It's done. It took me longer than I thought it might because I had all kinds of interruptions. They were good interruptions. But let me show you. I'm going to step out of the way. And look, I really do like it. How can I get out of your way? Let me get over here. That way you can see. And let me see if I can pull the camera down in one fluid motion. Let's see. Let's give it a shot. Yeah. I like it a lot. I really do. Yep. See if I got that camera situated where I can still see you. All right, that's going to be it for this video. But before I sign off completely, I would just want to say I don't think I'm going to do a sashing in between. I love how the center 6 blocks work cohesively together to make a medallion. Adding these strips around the side of it, number one, it really totally distracts from what that used to look like. And none of the others now look like that at all. They look like crosses. It just looks fun, playful, colorful, something jovial that you'd want to gift to somebody who's on a transplant waiting list, right? So there's no need to break it up by putting more cloth, more fabric, more space in between them. These are now 16 and a half. They're 16 is what they'll finish out. So that's 32 inches. And of course it'll be 48 inches down, 32 inches here. And with the 2 borders being 6 inches each, then if I put an inner border of 2 inches and 2 inches, I'll be at 48 side by side, and then 52 down. So 48 by 52 is a good size for somebody in a hospital bed, or spending a lot of time on a couch or in a bed. It's a good size. It's kind of about what you would have for a larger baby blanket. Good for a lap blanket too if you're in a wheelchair or something like that. Oh, before we sign off, let's play with something really quickly. Forget where, oh, there they are. Let's give some thought if we want to do white as our sashing, which seems to work. But if we want to just go with this whole multicolored movement, a lot of activity, this might be the one. I don't know. Ugh. We'll have to see. It's not doing it for me. There might be another one over here that works. I'll give that some thought, but I don't think I like that enough. I think it needs more movement or less. That this is just enough to kind of muddy it, which is not the objective. So that's my assessment at the moment. We will talk more on the next video. I hope you're doing well, and thank you so very much for being here and being on this journey with me, giving me some of your time. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.